All right, guys, let's get Julian on here. I'm excited, man. I don't know anything about this update, but it's a big one. Looked like it was a big one. If you guys like building, I'm also gonna give you a sneak peek at what I've started doing with the Sevi Islands. It's not a big update, or like there's not a lot that I did with it, but I just haven't had a lot of time to work on it. But Sevi Islands is the current project. Bro, oh, is there light mechanics now? Oh.
Hey man, what's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Are we live already, or is it just still the pre-stream?
No, I've been live for hours trying to beat a nuzlocke.
Oh, oh, is it not going good?
Yeah, we're in area 0 for Gen 9, so we've got one final boss and that's it.
Hey, that's nice.
Yep, and only a handful of silly nests.
Gen 9. I never played. I don't think I've ever played the newest one. That's the newest one, right?
That is the newest one.
Gen 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played those. I gotta do that sometime.
But did you play Gen 1 Questmaster?
I did.
Wait, you did?
I actually played Gen 0 already.
Wait, I don't understand.
I played it like before it even was public, you know. So like I got the not even the first generation.
You were talking about my map, or I'm confused now.
Wait, what is? You just asked me if I played generation. Oh, you meant your map?
Yeah, my map.
I thought it was like a joke.
No. A joke?
God.
We had 2 races about it. They were so serious about beating it, we had to do it twice. I wanted to keep this a surprise for myself, kind of like emulating the holiday season of a kid opening a gift for the first time. I have not read the patch notes, and I wanted to explore. I know the sneak peeks, but I didn't read the patch notes because I want to discover it like firsthand, and then have you sort of like walk us through.
Yeah.
Kind of the design ideas, because you made it clear in our last interview that you like to build mechanics that people know how to like people will recognize them, but they like to synergize, right? You want to leave it open to try and get to see how people's creativity sort of overlaps these pieces that you add. Is there going to be anything of note that I'm going to see immediately?
I mean, you'll be surprised by, I guess, the visuals and music and the snow particles, perhaps, but...
Those are very nice.
You really gotta... Yeah, right?
Oh, thank goodness you didn't make the snow go over, like, all the black areas, just wherever there's map. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, kind of just like exactly like the leaves work in the...
Right.
Brambles. The Brambles theme. And yeah, the music is great as well. Really, really good. Like, this is also, like, this track is the longest. Apogee, like... Oh. They told me that they are going to like make the new music longer because they feel it's better for like reducing repetitivity in the maker mode, especially because like you build for hours, right? And you kind of get potentially, I don't get sick of them, but like maybe people get sick of them or something. So I still think like the ideal way would be kind of to have, it's pretty ambitious, but like to almost have like procedural music, which is kind of like part randomized, but also partly like dynamic to like what you're doing and stuff like that. But that's such an ambitious thing, and also like costly, which we can't really do. So I would have to potentially do that in another game, or like some DLC or sequel or whatever. Yeah, I think in the ideal world, I did actually in like very early versions of Questmaster, I did have that kind of stuff in the game. I split up the music into the different like instruments and amplified the volume of each depending on like how many blocks you placed and which types of blocks you placed. It was pretty fun, but like it was too involved to create for the musician. It's just too much to think about, so I just ditched the shit and just focused on like the orchestral and chiptune version transitions we have going on. So
yeah, I do actually appreciate that you did that, because I was one of the people who like, I love the music when I'm building, but after like 5 or 6 hours straight, like it does become mind-numbing. But now basically I just put it on to the battle music, like in Emberstone Quarry. That's the one I'm building my current map in, and I switched it over to the battle one. I'm just like, yeah, this is awesome. This kind of gives
me very
much
like Secret of Mana style, like Seiken and Setsu, like this very like I think Brent is even using like samples from the games, like the same samples that they used, like Hiroki Kikuta, I think is the artist's name.
Okay.
It's really crazy. Like, it's such a high quality music that Brent is pumping out.
You've got a tuba in here? Got the tuba going.
Yeah, you've got the choir and the boss theme as well. It's very, very different this time around.
What are, in your opinion? I mean, okay, there's the whole patch thing, but what's the highlight of Coldfang Grotto? What's the main mechanic or main goal of bringing this out?
Yeah, so like the thing about this update is that it didn't only introduce new dungeon parts, but also like I refactored, like I completely redid like basically the core systems of like how things like the attributes get added to entities, like damage numbers, stuff like that. And that was to allow the freezing to work correctly, right? Okay. Like actually having objects be able to be frozen at runtime and like, you know, interacting with the fact that they are frozen, they can't move, they can't interact, is actually very intricate if you want to make it like flexible and like powerful and actually interesting.
Okay.
So like all of this has changed completely. Like the complexity of the attributes is really great now. So like for example, you as the player cannot inherently get frozen. When you get hit by ice damage, you like get cold. Like you get like a slow debuff.
Okay.
However, when you're wet, right? Like when you come out of the water, or like for a short duration after you have been cold, you get like a thaw debuff. While in that state and you get hit by ice, you get frozen.
Oh.
Right?
Okay.
So, like, there's like these like little things you have to keep track of, and like all of this is just so cool to have in the engine now. Like if you get hit by fire while frozen, you get taught immediately. I mean, all of the new enemies can be taught with fire. The ice blocks can be taught. You can freeze enemies into ice and have them be melted with sunlight as like a kind of boss fight reveal, kind of how Minish Cap did that.
Yeah, no, that was one of my favorite
There's
things.
just so much cool stuff. Yeah, it's nuts, and there's still some limitations to it that I will hopefully be alleviating in the coming days. So yeah, it's just like this update really elevates the whole game to the next level on so many aspects.
Is that a bloody fang in the? Is that Santa or a bloody fang in the front entrance?
It's
that?
your pet, right?
Oh my god, it's a chicken. You're right. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Stuck in the door.
Thank you.
Yeah, tons of new decoration as well.
Decorative shield. Like, oh, that's cool. Okay. So that's okay. So there's a lot. Maybe I should have read. Okay. Well, let's. I see there are gauntlets.
Yes, that's also a very big new thing. Because this basically allows you to utilize previously co-op only mechanics like the big blocks in single player, right? So that's huge. It's just like a passive equip. It's not progressive. The golden one, like you can collect the golden one before the silver one. Like the order doesn't matter. The golden one just lets you like lift 3 block heavy, like 3 tile heavy objects, and the silver one just does 2. Because like we have so many of these resizable objects, even like pull levers that many people forget about. You can make pull levers wider. So I hope this will now enable people to use them in more dungeons, because we unfortunately don't have many co-op dungeons as expected.
Oh, that's a cool looking torch. I like that.
Yeah.
That's so nice. Yeah, you definitely went Twilight Princess Mansion with this for sure.
Yeah. It actually was my plan before to have like the ice theme be like actually like a mansion tile set, like a wooden wall stuff, but this just fit a bit more with the mechanics, so we decided on that.
I think with the ice things you can turn off lights, right?
Yes, so the ice boomerang, it can't actually like light torches on, but it rather turns them off because it, it freezes them.
All right, what am I doing with this? What can I expect from this thing?
So this is also pretty crazy. So this can freeze objects like enemies in place, and frozen enemies. Yeah, so this actually was a bug. This I just patched this actually. They didn't turn off in this build that you're playing.
Oh,
so
really?
Ignore that. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so like they freeze enemies in place, right? And if you have an enemy frozen, that enemy can be pushed onto pressure plates to press them.
Oh, okay.
Which previously enemies, they can't interact with switches. So that's a really interesting mechanic. You can also freeze a lot more things. You can freeze switches to stop them from progressing their timer, for example. So like you can use like the linked switches to activate a lot of them in a like big area, but by just freezing them. Or you can even like freeze turbines. You can even freeze like propellers to stop them spinning in the wind.
Oh my God.
To activate some contraption. It's really crazy.
So I'm guessing with this ice block, that's what you put stuff in, if you want.
For example, yeah. Yeah.
Look at that.
But you can also just freeze objects as is. Like if you spawn an enemy, like
Right.
if you just place on an enemy,
Yeah.
you can click in the context menu to set it to be frozen. And yeah, there's like both of these ways to allow you to do that.
Does every enemy have that kind of interaction? Everything can be frozen?
Yes. Yes. Except the bosses right now, because I need to do like some changes to the like logic to make it work, but the other enemies can be frozen. I think Spikadillo can't be frozen because it has like an inherent invulnerability aspect. It's kind of weird. It's kind of like a bug right now. It's the only enemy who can't. I have to check that out.
You've got some ice goozers now. Any other enemies get ice variants? The Keese or Slumberwing?
Yep, those got ones, and we have a special enemy called the Freeze Slide at the bottom.
Freeze Light.
That's the new one.
The heck is this? Is this the Armos?
Not quite. You might notice this from Twilight Princess though. It's like similar to I don't remember the name of that, but like it was this weird ice enemy that just slid around on ice when you hit it.
Oh, Freezers! Yeah. I remember that for a time. Yeah.
Pretty interesting and kind of similar.
So we can play Pong now.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, there's actually mini games like Beyblade and Hockey Slide. It's pretty funny.
All right, Chad. Next year, 2025 Pong tournament. Can you push ice units into fire?
Yes.
You can.
Yes, to melt them. Yeah, fire bars work. Fireball shooters like the arrow traps work. Even enemies like the Zorbius boss can like shoot fireballs to melt ice blocks. Like you can make like arenas where he like summons more enemies from ice blocks. It's pretty fun.
That's really neat. What made you think of the freeze line? Like, what were you?
So like we wanted to add a new enemy because it's honestly been quite a while since we added like a completely new one, and I figured I always try to make the enemies mechanically interesting, so like they're also usable in puzzles, which the freeze light is like very much so. And I just checked out some of the enemies in Zelda and like combined a bunch of stuff. Actually, the freeze light has a unique mechanic if you don't hit it. Look, so try to get hit by it. It's actually a pacifist enemy. He doesn't hit you, he just bumps you away. So it's kind of like the bullies in Mario 64, right?
Right, they have the, there's also those jellyfish in Link to the Past, right? The walking jellyfish bouncer guys?
Yes, exactly. So like you can make like a swordless dungeon perhaps, where you have to like avoid them, right?
Oh, so they literally only bump, or they'll only freeze you once you've hit them. How long do they do this for?
Yes. They move around like endlessly unless you kill them, and I think they need 3 hits from the sword.
Oh, they get faster
But
when you
you
hit
can,
them.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, dang.
And like with non-damaging items like the boomerang, you can actually like change their trajectory. So like that's perfect for like the Pong mini games.
Do they freeze water?
They do. Yeah, all items that have ice do.
Okay, so there won't be any particular interaction, like certain things won't be able to do, like that'll always be the case.
I think so. I think there's none that don't freeze.
Okay.
I guess like ice enemies don't freeze the water because they will, ice beds, they fly over it, and the slimes they will drown. But that might be interesting, I suppose.
Because that's what I was gonna worry about, like with the like I figured the ice bats wouldn't do that, but like if
it might
for
be too
example
chaotic.
the goozers were jumping over the water, like they jump into the water, they actually freeze it instead of drowning. You know what I mean? Like that's what I thought
that
was
might
gonna...
be. I like that idea actually. That's really easy to add as well. Yeah, I'll add it before. Let me write this down.
There you go.
My man's giving me ideas right now.
You're welcome, chat. Thomas, get back to work. Good to see you, man. Julian.
Yeah. Ice physics are a must.
Yeah, okay. Is this just because ice physics are a must? Or do you see it as something that can make Because I have never found a game that makes ice fun.
I think the floor itself, I think it's pretty funny because I don't think the ice physics in Questmaster are over the top. I think they're just right, but maybe have a bias. There's also a ring that prevents you from slipping, so if you really dislike the ice, you can equip the ring to shield you from that.
No, you didn't make any ice where it like guarantees to pull you through, kind of like a conveyor belt type of thing.
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. I've always thought about like the Pokemon ice, right? I'd have to see how we can work that in. I remember having those kind of tiles in like a very old version of Questmaster, but
you got an ice rod here as well, which spawns. Oh, it spawns an ice block. Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Cane of Somaria. So I wanted to make it a bit more unique than just like making an ice projectile shooter. So yeah, this is really cool. Like you can make temporary pressure plate pressers, and you can make paths over water. Of course, you can shield yourself from enemies, right? It's I really like that.
Okay. Well, that's actually a really neat shout out to it being like a way to block projectiles and use that as kind of a form of defense. I do like that. I actually am kind of glad of something you've done with the different rods is they all have, like, most of them are not actually offensive in a sense. They have different utilities, like being able to spawn the tornado versus flipping the color versus now creating basically a new block versus, I don't know what a Spectral Blast does, but, you know, essentially lights up paths and acts as that fire for invisible stuff.
Absolutely.
I think that adds a little bit more to it. Do they have something different about them? There's an icy version of them?
No, you can freeze them. I didn't know that.
Oh, look, I got too lost in everything.
I didn't even know that.
You didn't know you could freeze these? Wait, they're frozen, but they're not.
Yeah, I suppose it's kind of like an oversight. Although it might be nice to be able to freeze them, honestly. Yeah, that's a good one. I will.
Okay, it freezes you if it hits you. Okay.
Yeah, so this is how, like, when an object is frozen, it actually implicitly adds ice contact damage to the object.
Okay.
So, like, if you are frozen as the player and you get hit by an enemy, that enemy also gets frozen. It's like a compound effect. It's really fun.
Oh man, you just made PvP maps way more interesting.
Yeah, right? Right.
It's like playing a game of frozen tag.
Yeah. Getting frozen is really annoying, arguably. So this is why, like, the freeze only happens, like, if you are wet and, like, after you've been cold. So, like, it's you have to play pretty terribly to get actually frozen, which is, like, you know, kind of like a balancing thing about this.
Oh no, don't tell that to the people who are going to play my map. But you're right. Ice. Specifically ice. Is there anything I can do with the ice floor? No, it's just ice. Okay.
It's just ice, yeah. But it looks cool. Also, oh yeah, place them over holes. There's a really cool interaction we have when you place them, like, over holes. Place some holes, like, on the bottom of the ice.
What do you mean place some holes at the bottom? Oh, that!
Hey!
Oh, yeah, okay. Oh, that's pretty neat.
Really cool.
That is a nice touch. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm guessing cracked ice was too, like, I guess you already had the tiles that people could walk over. But, oh god, can I put tiles on top of these?
So you can. The problem with fissured ice that breaks when you step on it is, since the ice is on the same layer as the holes and the water, there's no way to actually put the ice over, like, water. So, like, there's no deterministic way to, like, break the ice without, like, having to, like, use, like, a random tile underneath or, like, a predefined one, which would just be weird. So I decided not to have fissured ice. This doesn't fit well. Basically, you want every single object in the game to be freezable, which is not right now. Like, there's like 75% of them are freezable, so, like, there's still the last quarter I have to get, but we'll get there.
Okay, so that frozen is pretty long. Yeah, so I get that. That's something I didn't even think. Okay, that's actually not too bad of a freeze. Or too much of a slide. Like, it's interesting that it actually slows you while you get on it, though. Like, it slows you into the state of ice?
Yeah, like, if I don't apply the little velocity clamping, it just accelerates you really far, like, really quickly. It just feels really bad. So this was like a little balancing measure, but you don't get clamped when you roll on it or, like, are pushed by turbines, like, only for walking speed.
Okay.
So like there's a little, even like min-maxing for speedrunning potentially, where you abuse the roll to get on ice.
Hold on, I'm just gonna build something really simple for everybody here. You know those DVD screens? Just for chat in case they get bored of us talking. And okay, here we go. Okay, so what else is there that we need to be exploring? So you said there's light mechanics too, though.
Yeah, so this is like the initial mechanics we're adding. Only the sunlight, which can melt frozen objects.
Okay.
I know you might have seen that I talked in the past about being able to kill Lunark with the light, right? This will be part, indeed, actually also the sunlight, but this will be part of the mirror update. So you'll be able to reflect the sunlight with your mirror shield into other mirrors.
Oh, man.
And like, it will be really crazy.
So how much, okay, so light I definitely know is not something that is used a lot in these makers. So what's gonna make it, like what sort of, I guess, synergies, how far do you want that synergy to go, and how complicated would it actually be to implement it?
Not at all. With this new system that I have set up, not at all. It's, I don't want to say it's a cakewalk, but it kind of is a cakewalk.
Okay.
So, I'm very happy about, you know, the setup right now. Like, all of these interactions are all done without any coding. Like, it's all just configuration. And it's also like a kind of a curse, because changing small tweaks, like making small tweaks, can break the entire, like, kind of like ecology of it. Because it's almost like a chemistry system akin to kind of like a Breath of the Wild. So yeah, I'm really excited about adding new kind of elements like light and perhaps even poison, maybe. We'll have to see about that.
Yeah, right now, okay, so right now we have wet, dry, cold. Yeah. Anything else? On fire.
Burning. Frozen, technically stunned.
Technically, yeah.
There's even like a golden. I mean, all of these things are kind of like buffs under the hood, but like true. I mean, I suppose being blown away by like a whirlwind, like a tornado, is kind of like a buff, but
Curse.
Not really.
Curse just came out.
Curse,
right?
yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
So my guess is you didn't really want to bring out any of these elemental interactions until the ice zone was here, because it's the one that makes the most sense to.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because like the ice is the coolest one by far, so it didn't make sense to add it before, right?
Yeah, because something I know that's still in the game, which I'm not sure. Like it's tough that a lot of people are struggling in my original map before the water came out, was when people died, their keys dropped on the spot when they revived with the fairy, and then because the keys would fall underwater, they couldn't get it.
Yeah, that's a big new thing, new change, right? I don't know if you've seen this, but the keys don't follow you around anymore. They're actually shown in the HUD. So like, no following keys anymore. I hated that. Actually,
I like them fall, but I get it, right?
And this was actually driving some people crazy. So yeah, this is way cleaner now. Just a little number. So
yeah, this makes more sense. Did you do that for blue coins yet?
I agree. We need to redo the UI because we don't want to have 2 coin counters in the same place. We have to find a good measure. I'm sure Thomas can figure out something. He's the big boss.
Thomas, let's talk. We can fix this together. Because right now I'm just using text signs to tell people, hey, they need 6 coins. And they're having to remember.
Damn, yeah, that indeed kind of sucks.
Yeah. Well, that's the big thing, because there's no actual indicator for the blue coins. So all I did was I put a text.
Right.
Originally, I had to use a sign and do like a little tutorial to teach people. All right, if you see this number, here you go. Like, here's 6, and then they just need to find 6 blue coins. But without the counter for them, like they have the pink coin counter, but obviously because that's universal, it gets equally confusing. So I have to worry about it, Thomas. I care about this project. Are you also watching this thing spin?
Yeah, it's mesmerizing. Actually.
I think I found my new BRB screen. I'm just gonna load this up and just spin it while I'm BRBing. I'll leave the chair on stream too. It's perfect. Chair stream plus DVD logo. I want to see the lighting. So where is that in this maker?
Yeah, it's part of the light sources. So where the torches are.
That is.
I think it's an interactable. Yeah.
Oh, the actual... Okay, I looked at the lantern. I'm like, oh, yeah, here. Okay, so sunlight. So how does this work? Okay, I can make the sight of it. That's pretty cool. So when water level raised, when all bridge... Yeah, we've got all these now. Okay, you can also... Oh, how does it... Oh, all sword coins have to be collected. Okay. So this doesn't have... This just has conditions for opening and closing.
You can also invert it if you click it once, which allows you to activate it.
I kind of like
that.
It's pretty visible when I have the map opened up as well. That's cool.
Yeah, we might change this. I'm not fully on board with the look still, but it's kind of like the best we could do. It's really difficult to make like a diegetic way to like tell you a light is off, right? Because a light being off by design is not visible. It's kind of weird. Oh yeah, those actually melt also when they move through it.
Come with me. Come on. So if he walks through it himself, hey, yeah, come on, over here, come on. And that melts. And I'm guessing that works with any... No, the ice blocks in particular need to stay there. If I
correct, yeah.
So there's no way to make it run enough to melt it.
No, it just felt better for puzzles if you just have to make them like stop at some kind of wall. Just too cheesable otherwise, but yeah.
Actually, this will be really neat because with the map that I'm building, because it's the Sevi Islands, there's a lot of volcano stuff. I can even just use this lighting. Oh, good, you can place stuff in the lighting. So what I can actually do now is similar to how I built the invisible platforms, where people just look like they're walking on space. You can make this look like it's sunny outside. So this can actually be the way to identify. So when I eventually do...
Oh my gosh, of course.
Yeah, so when I actually do Emerald, when it's drought because of Groudon, I can make it look like it's actually sunny. Yeah, now it's actually Groudon's pissed off. So now what does this look like in the dark? Oh, interesting. Okay. So you can still tell.
Yeah, there was
I'm surprised it gets dark with the dark room.
Yeah, there was a feedback suggestion to make the sunlight also count towards the torch count, I guess. Which is a good idea. It's kind of weird to have darkness with... But it looks pretty interesting.
I was gonna say, without the walls, this kind of looks awesome, though.
Holy shit, this looks crazy, actually, yeah.
Oh, you didn't think to do this?
I have not tried it out, yeah.
It's kind of... That looks like a cool void to me, actually. That's really
right? Maybe I'll keep it.
I'm sorry, there's a there's a freezing lantern?
Yeah, that's new, actually, because the freeze flame braziers, the new torch type, cannot be lit with the regular lantern, so you have to have the freeze flame lantern for that. Because if you throw a regular boomerang through a freeze flame brazier, it turns it into a ice boomerang, which allows you to freeze that water. So
so we're gonna have specific. So can we hold two different lanterns then if we had different torches?
You actually can't, and that's kind of like my little, like my only gripe with this system right now, and which is why I might redesign it. But like still, like the old lanterns, the spectral and regular lantern can still light both regular and spectral torches. Just the new freeze flame ice lanterns can only light the respective elemental form. So just to make it more intuitive, I guess, but it's still a bit confusing in my opinion. I'll have to see. Yes.
If I go like this. No, so I can't freeze it into a freeze flame?
No, that's not possible. Yeah, correct.
Oh, okay, that's what I was wondering. Yeah, like if you could do like let's say you were trying to hit like 3 of them, so you had to like make one of them frozen, then turn it into a freezing one to spin it around to make it a freeze, then come back and fire and melt something else.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
That'd be a nightmare, but like. That's the first thing that went to my mind, where I'm like, what if you had to do like this kind of like triangle throw of a boomerang to like hit different places? I can understand that'd be a little ambitious.
It'd be pretty crazy, yeah.
I am ambitious,
so many permutations.
There's tombstones!
Yeah, those are new, those are cool.
Push and have a message engraved. Push, so stuff could be hidden underneath them?
Yes, kind of like the gravestones in Zelda, right?
Oh!
That will reveal stuff. And you can also add a message to it, so like add cool lore or whatever.
Can we hide falling holes under this?
You can hide a trapdoor.
Oh.
So, all power to you.
But can I hide
Or
these?
You can as well, pretty sure.
Oh, yeah? Wait.
Ah, you can't.
No,
damn.
you can't. Darn. Because I was going to say, that would be like exactly like in Dampé's Graveyard, where you had to move it to then find a hole underneath it, right? Trapdoor makes sense, though. Like, it would... Actually, no, if I have the trapdoor open, though? Does this... How does that work?
I think it...
No, it's
Oh, yeah, it doesn't fall. Oh, yeah. Oh, damn, it's not possible to place it on top? That's unfortunate. I really thought it was...
No, it eats it.
Possible. Damn. I was pretty sure you could place blocks on them, though, so that's weird.
Wait. Pillars can be... You made it where we can actually move pillars any way we want?
Yeah, I just figured, you know, fuck it. Let me give the players what they want. They had, like, blueprints of the invalid directions anyway, so it really doesn't matter what I do. They find ways.
Unfortunately. You're losing to the players again. This is a problem.
It's a classic, yeah.
Why?
They outsmart me.
What is... Can I... Oh my god, I can make the... Why can I do that, though? What? You can't even see that coming. It's perfect. Oh, I can't wait for you guys to find my next Patreon escape room.
But yeah, I do like the idea of the diggable holes. That's on my list.
I appreciate that the rocks are frosted muffins. Oh yeah, I haven't even tried out the snow yet.
Oh yeah, that's really cool. Also, like the footsteps we have, really juicy.
Oh, you got footsteps now. Yeah, because you have the little splashing with. Oh, look at that. Oh, and going in the same. Okay, so now what does this look like? Ah, no drag. That's okay. Does this make anything when I put something on it? No. Okay, that's fair. It's not that complicated.
That'd be even better. Yeah.
Well, having like the little slide thing with something going across it would definitely be, you know. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Oh my god, you're so slow. But no, Frozen with even the balloon freezes. Good god.
Oh my gosh.
Is Frozen flying? Is it Frozen an invisible something?
I think the Zorbs, but I think the ice particles still are visible when it's invisible.
Let's see.
It's like a limitation of the shader. I have to redo that. It's like the invisible stuff is quite a headache, not gonna lie, to implement. So it's not something I like to work on.
Nonetheless, still cool. It's exactly how I imagined it would be, where it's just literally walking my ice shards with me, and that's okay. Well, I appreciate that you went for the ice theme and you just went into it, right? Like you're not just saying like here's ice tiles and everything else like this. Like you actually essentially changed the future of all design on all maps because Frozen can be put in everywhere, right? So
yes, exactly. It's not theme specific.
So what would freezing stairs do for you though?
When you walk on it, you like behave like you're walking on ice. It's not a crazy big deal, but
okay.
I don't know. Maybe it's for someone.
Could this be applied to like a lava fall or something?
Not yet.
Oh, you can't freeze the slides. That makes sense.
Yeah. I am looking into implementing freezings like the waterfall doors and kind of doors in general, perhaps. So like you have to kind of melt the waterfall. The only limitation, like the ice does not work at all with the water levels. The ones that you can raise and lower. That's unfortunately something I probably won't be really able to work around. We'll see, but yeah, otherwise everything works with the ice mechanics.
You can make a mini golf course with the ice block and holes. Yes, you can. Like there are a lot of potential with ice.
Yeah. That's a good one. Holy shit, I didn't even think about that.
I guess at this point, because now this is the final major update, right? Before 1.0.
I'll just say yes. I'll just say yes. It might not be. I'll just say yes.
Are you lying to the people again?
I mean, look at the roadmap and you can like think for yourself. But
that's true.
Yeah, I guess for PR reasons I have to say yes.
So with this, my assumption is you chose this theme as the final. Let's just say final major theme. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. $50 under the table, and now we're looking towards 1.0, which is next year. Planned somewhere, I believe you said, kind of like April to June, July. Not to put words in your mouth, but you said something like the middle of the year, right?
Yeah, that's like spring, like April, May. That's the thing we're looking at, exactly.
So, in your eyes, you don't have to reveal anything, but in your eyes, for this to enter 1.0 before you do any of the patch fixing or just kind of optimizing mechanics and stuff like that, for you, what do you want? What's left for you in this game to make it feel like it's going to hit 1.0 outside of, the overworld and things like that? Like, just from the dungeons themselves and the building or the playing itself. Like, what are you still looking to aim at, to make or to improve to ensure that, like, once 1.0 is there and everything you add with 1.0, like, this game is going to feel like it's like, yeah, this is really the direction I wanted to hit before 1.0.
Yeah, I think I would argue from, like, my point of view, if I just judge it as, like, if I'm playing myself, there's really nothing I necessarily want to still add. Even though there's still, like half a year of updates, and we are still continuing the weekly updates, right? So there will still be about, give or take, 30 content updates coming to the game. It's quite ridiculous. But I think from, like, a objective point of view, the game definitely needs tutorials, because the content has expanded so much. And even though I think new players have a pretty good time to get into the game, into the maker mode, if they invest time, I think it might still be a bit too overwhelming for new players who don't expose themselves to the Discord or any, like, guides on Steam, which is kind of like a problem with all these kind of maker games. Yeah. Even though, I still think that we kind of hit the nail on the head when it comes to intuitiveness, but it doesn't, like, just the content breadth doesn't really help the fact that it's just still intuitive. Like, we have to still make, like, kind of like a tutorialization of, like, how you build dungeons, and this is gonna be probably one of the most challenging things, because I myself hate tutorials. I think there are, like, most tutorials that are done in the game industry are just straight up terrible. Right. It's so difficult to make a good tutorial, especially in this kind of game where it's like what do you explain and what do you not explain, right? Because you want to still leave some things to be explored by the player and found by the players. So it's like a balancing act, and previous attempts at tutorials for Questmaster have not gone well. So I'll have to see what I come up with, but I think that's, like, generally the biggest thing that would, like, hold me back from releasing the game into 1.0, like, right now, right?
Right. And you're right, because tutorials in these kinds of games, the one thing that I think about, like, when I used I Want a Maker and Super Dungeon Maker, like, I have 600 hours in I Want a Maker, and I looked I looked into guides maybe 200 hours in, because for me, the way that I learned about the game was to just literally fiddle around with it. Because if I looked at a tutorial, it kind of takes away that magic of that creative, that kind of, like, creative spark of go, oh, if this does it like this, then I wonder if this does this. Because there are certain things you could look up, like how this is implemented. So, like, if I wanted to look at how people did bridges, I'd be like, okay, this is what I want to do. But I wouldn't really look that up until I go, okay, but what does a bridge do for me in the context of this map? Right? Does this need to be layered? Like, what else can I do with a bridge? What sort of things can I implement and things like that? So I totally get that like, tutorials for map makers. It also depends on people's time, but I mean, you leave it up to the players at the end of the day, and people who want to look it up, they'll look it up. Anybody who wants to be like me and literally spend 600 hours making, not half-ass, but, like, half full effort but half effective maps, it's just kind of a creative process, It's like
I totally agree.
Your first 100 pictures will suck, and then your 101st will actually show an iota of learning, and that's always been the way that I found these to be the most exciting, which is what I really like about Questmaster, is how intuitive you've made it, but also how you're clearly not afraid to have these mechanics interact with each other. And now you're adding a whole new layer of, there was a time I remember being in the discourse in the Discord, with the whole ringless thing, right? And being there and talking about like the benefits or the deficits of it, and kind of looking at everybody's sort of opinions on it. And then once you implement it, I go, well, this is actually really cool, because something that, you know, we're looking at it from a difficulty or, you know, freedom of difficulty for the player, but it also becomes an incentivization for shops. So suddenly now I have something that when I'm complaining like, crap, I have nothing to do with 300 coins. Well, now I do. I can encourage people in bigger maps to go farm for rings that they might like. So, and now that you've added text, I can actually make a proper shop. People don't have to guess what the picture is. So it's just like, it just feels like the more that you update, the more that you're taking into consideration just kind of the openness of how people want to or might want to build. I think, like, even just seeing, you know, the tombstones pushing for the holes, and now you got like the dig spot idea in your head, and you had that other idea that I gave. Like, there's just there's many ways that I think you've designed this well enough. Everybody on the team's designed this well enough where it's like people actually can think that way. They're not feeling gated, which I feel is sort of what happens with a lot of map builders, where they go, we really want these maps to work this way. We don't want to worry too much about, you know, the bugs or the exploits, where you guys are like, yeah, we don't want exploits, but, you know, you freeze a rock, right? Until you figure out, like, if that does anything, like, you freeze a rock.
I mean, I openly endorse, like, using glitches and bugs in, like, troll levels, right? I'm not like Nintendo that, like, bans users for, like, making levels around it. I just say openly, okay, I fix the bugs. Perhaps these dungeons break in the future. Usually I version the changes so they don't get broken, but yeah, I let people have fun. I think it's definitely a balancing act, as you said, like, especially, like, imagine if we did a tutorial with the launch of Early Access where the game was so much simpler, right? We'd have to redo all of that shit all the time. So it would really only make sense for it to be done by the end of the game release anyway. But even then, like, new mechanics will be introduced that might change previous mechanics. And, like, when you introduce mechanics, like, when they have so many dependencies or relationships, like, when or, like, do you even, like, explain it at all? So I totally am on board with you on the fact that, like, in a creative experience, it should be about the user getting to experience how to use the tools without being told how to use the tools. Problem is, though, I guess the modern audience, some of them at least, don't tend to agree with that. I've heard from at least some people. So I don't know. I at least know how to introduce the gameplay mechanics, like play mode, right? We have like, the current plan is to basically allow you optionally to, when starting the game, basically the game would start a campaign, and it would allow you to, like, exit if you didn't want it at all. But, like, the first campaign level would essentially introduce you to basic movement, puzzle mechanics, combat, stuff like that. I mean, the dojo also kind of is like that, right? Like, the dojo teaches you how to use the sword. So, like, diegetic tutorials like that kind of, like, are in the world. But, like, with map making, it's difficult to make it, like, an in-world thing, because it's inherently not, like, the lens, the hero inherently is not making the map, right? Like, you as the user are. So it's tough. I have no idea about making a tutorial right now. I will have to see what we do, but I definitely think one big thing is that it should perhaps be very visual. I hate text tutorials, and I think in this kind of game especially, it makes even less sense, because it just adds to the confusion, right? So we'll see. I mean, one idea I had was kind of like transparent blueprints you kind of complete, but, like, it didn't work with the perspective, because you have the top-down view, and, like, you have all these overlapping sprites. It just creates terrible noise. And that kind of blueprint thing only really worked well in Mario Maker, where you view it from the side, right? So you only ever have, like, one object on one tile, which is not the case in Questmaster at all. So we'll see. We'll see what it can. I'm sure we can find some kind of satisfactory solution, but yeah.
Well, I'm just reading what Noble is saying, where I also agree with that, because that's something I learned from building my own maps, where a good map in general will kind of do their own tutorial of their own mechanics, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's described as a Kaizo or a troll, you know, if I'm giving people a bunch of bounce pads and a feather, and they don't know that they actually pick up speed by rolling and then being able to jump to increase their distance, then that's not necessarily a failure of the game not teaching that. That's an advanced mechanic that needs to be shown in the map somehow, either explained through text in that actual dungeon, or is demonstrated in that map. So, like, in my mind, a tutorial, I'm just thinking, like, something that I liked in I Want a Maker is a really good example. When they made their tutorial, it wasn't anything too complicated. Like, here's how you jump. If you hold the button, you can jump higher. Here's your shoot. If you shoot the save point, you get to save. And then they kind of teach you, like, here you go. You can dip and jump. Like, it just showed the most basic of actions that a character can take. So, like, in Questmaster, for example, in my mind, I go, okay, you have spin slash, and then you can actually just quick spin slash instead of holding it. And here's your roll, and if you roll over a jump, you go further. Or if you roll, you increase speed, and things like that. And then there'd be, like, a room with, like, here's the grappling hook, connects to wood, boom. It doesn't have to explain everything about it. It just kind of shows, like, here's the base mechanic of it. But, of course, like you said, the more you're adding, I mean, I Want to Maker is jump and shoot, and then everything comes with the environment interacting with you. So in this one, it's the same thing. It's roll and slice, and then use item, right? And everything else should be explained, in my mind anyways, by that map. So yeah, I totally understand that is a very difficult, and very, admittedly, like, time-consuming and almost nerve-wracking mechanic, where if you had to constantly go back and update the tutorial, like, that would be a pain in the ass. You know? No
question, yeah.
Like, it's already a pain in the ass to add something to a map, and then, like, I go back to my tutorial, I go, oh god, I gotta go make this room now, and then it just looks forced and gross, and yeah, I get that.
Some of, like, I also had an idea where you have, like, a room or, like, a dungeon that's, like, almost done, but, like, slightly broken in various ways, and you have to kind of, like, fill the gaps and fix it up. Maybe that kind of works. Like, it doesn't tell you what's wrong, right? You have to complete it to, like, beat the tutorial section, I guess. So you have to figure out yourself what's wrong with the dungeon and figure out how to fix it yourself. Perhaps that's a good way of approaching that kind of way, because you can also scale up the difficulty organically, right? Like, you can, I don't know, place some water in front of the gemstone, and then you have to, like, place some floor tiles to remove the water. And in level 2, you can actually have enemies that you have to clear by attaching a condition to them or whatever, right? Maybe that works. I have no idea, because there's so many mechanics that are just not explained. It's
interesting you say that, because Link's Awakening for the Switch did that with their Dungeon Maker mode. Their whole thing was the way you unlock. Yeah. I'm not saying to make it like you meta progress dungeon making. That would be, don't do that, please. But or do what you want. I love you either way, but, like, don't do that. But one thing that they did in Link's Awakening Switch, which I actually found really fun, was they turned the tutorial of dungeon making, even if it was super simple, into a puzzle game of its own. So they had you, like, connect this room to the end. You must have at least 2 monster rooms and stuff like this. And because the rooms had different conditions that you had to always have, it actually forced you to kind of think about the ways you could do it. And there wasn't any one answer in most cases, right? Some of them could be answered in different ways. So it is interesting you bring that up, because the other thing too is, I think a tutorial is best when it's not forced, but rather kind of a compendium that people can go back to. And, like, if they want to feel like, you know what, I kind of want to actually build in the ice zone. Now you have all these ice mechanics. You go, okay, here's the basics of the ice zone. You know, make your way across the water, and they see an ice boomerang, and they just go, okay, what does this do? They go, oh shit, and then they do it, right? So it's interesting you mention that, because Link's Awakening, I think, did a really good job with showing the limitations of their dungeons as much as the potential of their dungeons, and made it kind of a, like, again, they made it meta progression because Nintendo, but like, they made it into a fun little puzzling thing, and kind of adds that little extra layer to help people think about what they're doing.
I totally agree. I mean, people always hate on the Dungeon Maker Link's Awakening. I kind of agree. I understand the standpoint, but
of course,
looking back at it now from, like, the developer perspective of, like, an actual Zelda maker, I do agree why Nintendo did it this way, right? Because the challenges of a Zelda maker, I'm sure they've tried. Honestly, I'm sure they've tried, and they just realized it's just not feasible to make it intuitive enough for their liking. You know, Nintendo always wants to make it super accessible and, like, stuff like that. And I think what they did accomplish with the Zelda Maker, Dungeon Maker, I guess, in Link's Awakening is not bad at all. Like, it's, you know, it's guaranteed to be solvable, right? it's kind of fun. It gets kind of repetitive, but it's not. It's only a side content anyway. It still allows you to like kind of get in the creative vision of like making a dungeon yourself, and you at least have some kind of modification potential to your dungeons. So I think it's not bad, and as a package as a whole, I think it works very well when you put it into context of like, what it tried to accomplish. I think people just try to compare it to like an actual dungeon maker thing, which I guess they hoped for, but yeah. I really liked the fact how you actually collected those like rooms as items in the game, right? Yeah. And this is also something that Questmaster will actually will have. So basically there will be, how we have the campaign, right? The single player campaign, which is basically like single player content that ships with the game. Aside to that, you actually also have campaign separated content that you actually also find in the minigame. So like you will find like little rune stones that you can give to the quest master, and he like tells you lore about them, and then you can play that dungeon, which is like just a large list of like developer-made dungeons that showcase specific ideas, cool interactions, just having fun basically with the mechanics. Cool. Kind of like the Mario Maker 2 levels, like the 100 or whatever dev levels they did. So like campaign outside stuff, just having fun with the mechanics, and also giving more offline content because people have requested it in the past quite a bit. So yeah, that's how you do. And I love that kind of style.
That's actually really cool because that's also like, devs obviously deserve their homage.
Yeah.
And that gives you an opportunity to, because I know you build a lot of things on your own. That's how people knew like this ice zone. It was like, well, we see Julian in Questmaster building a thing in this biome that doesn't have a name. So we know it's coming, but it's like, rather than you building it just for the sake of showing off, this is what it's gonna be. It's like, no, you could actually now get creative and go, wow, I can actually play my own map maker now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I must say, like, being the developer of this game, obviously I started out with the mindset of making my dream game. It's kind of cliche, but that's how it is.
Of course, no, it has to start like that.
But of course, like nowadays, I just play the levels that other people make because I kind of enjoy it more these days. Because I don't know, I kind of feel like I nowadays I like expend all my creative energy on the game, like on the maker part. I have very little left for actually making dungeons. Even though that was the original intention for me, right, to make this game, but I guess that's just how it is. I'm glad I have other people playing the game in that regard for me.
And I'm the exact opposite, where once I see how cool people's designs are, I go, shit, I want to go build this, so I don't play maps anymore.
Yeah.
I just build!
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I can say, like, now that we have, like, the final wink wink major update released, the upcoming updates will not be introducing crazy, outrageous new mechanics. We will basically just iterate on existing stuff, polishing stuff, and adding content upon that, right? Like, for example, we have a minecart update planned, which greatly expands the capabilities and like stuff you can do with minecarts, right? New rail types, new minecart types, changing how minecarts work a bit. Obviously versioning the chain so that doesn't break anything. Like that kind of stuff, right? So we, I just want to polish what we have, and like, for example, I wouldn't like now add like a new weird kind of item that only has like a few interactions with other objects because it's just too niche, right? I'd rather add like a new like variation of an item that just adds more possibilities, because I feel like, for example, one thing people are always asking for is magnetism, right? Having like magnetic mechanics, but it's such a such a rabbit hole I want to go down. With like a complete new theme, complete new like so many new items and things we could do with it, like metal enemies that you can propel and like attract towards you. So many mechanics, and like all of these things just fit better into like a full major post 1.0 DLC content type of stuff. So I really hope that we can get there, like funding wise, with the with the how the game performed, so we can actually realize that, because
Jesus, those people really liked Oracle. Was that Oracle of Ages with the magnetic glove?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god. Was that Ages or Seasons? Well, it was the Oracle's games, but that was
I believe it was Ages. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Ages. Oh, that's it would be awesome if that happened. I also would not be upset if you just threw your hands in the air and said this is like a whole new game.
I agree.
Because like you don't want to just do it for the sake of doing it, where you're just like, oh look, I sucked him in. Like you might as well just make Gus Jar at that point, right?
Yeah, that's kind of true. And also, to be fair, like at some point I will be hitting like pretty serious engine limitations. So like when I want to add like too many new kind of things, I have to see if it's even possible, or if I have to like make a completely new engine. Ideally, of course, I don't. But yeah. I think magnetism could be really cool.
Oh, absolutely.
Also electricity, right? Like electricity and magnetism are like the big like two core concepts that can be like huge additions to the game. So yeah. And of course like light as well, light reflecting, but that's coming for 1.0 already. Like actually we probably make the update in January, so it's not actually too far off.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the light puzzles, because I think light is definitely something that, like, even just having this sunlight mechanic that you have now, I don't think a lot of games really think they just use light as a way to create the ambience, but I really like the Spirit Temple and in the way that it, like, you were reflecting light to break seals or do those mirror puzzles. I think it just adds, like, it's no different, honestly, than you, like, pushing an ice block. But it does feel cool, because light just has a very satisfying puzzle finish to it, where you see the beam of light going, and then it just, it's light breaking something, not just a laser beam or a bomb or something like this, right? I think exactly. Light is, like anything that has to do with light or wind always have the most satisfying finishes to puzzles.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love lighting.
Yeah, the same thing. That's where the light above comes from, Noble, is the Minish Cap, the Ice Temple, right? Frost, what's it called? Teardrop,
Temple of Droplets?
Temple of Droplets, thank you.
Yeah.
I run that game. Yeah, like, I love, like, melting the boss and then having to, like, light his tail on fire and stuff like that. That was just super neat, Yeah. So.
Absolutely.
The way that I see the enemies right now, I'm trying to think, like, what enemies are missing from this. Now you have a little bit of ice bastards. You got a lot of exploding bastards. You've got teleporting and fragging bastards. You've got jumping guys. You got the basic enemies. There's definitely 4 bosses, but there's going to be more. I'm trying to think now, like, what's missing? Like, we have, because it's not going to be... Yes, there's an ice-specific guy, but there's technically no fire-specific guy. There's no curse-specific because they're variants, or the projectiles get varied. So now the interesting question of people guessing is, if there's no new themes that we know about, what is expected? Because, like, metal is the one thing that I think is kind of just there to act as it has to be blown up. So, like, my mind goes to, okay, if he's going to keep with mechanics, then I'm expecting something more than metal boxes and metal trapdoors requiring weight. So maybe you have to actually, like, drop something on things and make them weak to weight or things like that. So it's a fun little mind game in the middle of me trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong in my map, to just kind of sit there and go, I'm curious what Julian is actually planning to design with people to add synergies and complexity, not to make the game harder, but to make the game have more, which is obviously the goal of the map maker. So
yeah, that's the thing, right? Like I always want to like allow these mechanics to work with most existing mechanics and dungeon parts, so like that's why I generally tend to avoid like specific niche enemy implementations. So I think the biggest, like when it comes to the metal, I'm actually very light. I mean, I'm actually very excited because I have always have planned the metal enemies, right?
Right.
I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
Nope.
But right now the plan is metal enemies are not killable with the sword or anything. They're metal, right? So what you have to do is, this actually was I think it was in Wind Waker. There was a mechanic about that. There were like these the metal choo-choos. You have to reflect light, or like like basically expose the metal enemies to light.
The Earth Temple.
Yeah, exactly. And then they will these enemies in Questmaster will turn to stone, and then you can break them. I really like that idea.
I thought you were gonna say you have to make them molten to fight them as fire enemies or something like that. If you were gonna say metal getting melted, but yeah, no, I thought that was really cool. The I think they were shadow chews or something like that.
Something like that.
Cursed chew or something. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I really that was because I remember being in that room going like, I have no idea what to do in here, and then suddenly I just watch one jump into light. They just immediately turn to stone. And I go, oh, and then you had to smash it with a hammer. You had to smash it with the hammer. That was the only way you could kill them. You couldn't actually slice them down or throw them or anything like that. Or you could turn them into switches. Yeah, that's the stuff I live for. That's
absolutely.
Like, that's just cool. I love elemental interactions. Those are my favorite games. Ones like the wet turning into frozen stuff. Like, I just really like interactions like that. I don't care about weaknesses. 100%. I just like having them have a condition, because then, especially now with the pouch and with all these different not mechanical, mechanics, but also like gizmos that you're adding in. Yeah, you can really make you can really make a bunch of rooms that can feel like their own little puzzle, and that's super neat. Julian, this is a super cool update.
Thanks, man. Yeah.
This is
I'm really stoked about it.
I didn't mean to make a nice joke, but this is super awesome. I'm really happy that you and the team have been just listening, but also delivering. Like, no, I don't think there are many of anything. Like, I know there's not a lot of people on Twitch who stream the game all the time and stuff like this. The reason why I like streaming this is it's really, really relaxing in a sense where the juices are flowing and I don't feel overstimulated by building it either. It feels like a masterclass in giving people the space without having them build to a perfect pixel and stuff like this. Like, it's quick, it's snappy, and everything you're adding just adds more curiosities. And now you got blueprints, so newcomers can go get some ideas. In case you haven't seen this, chat, you can go download blueprints as well, of different signs or different different features and things like that. Like, people can help you out. So, you know, the thing that Lugia was known for, the changing wheel, now you could build it with using their blueprint, because it's really hard to build and envision for people like me. So if I ever need to use it, I can go here and go, okay, which one's good, and go from there. So, like, a lot of people spend a lot of time figuring out ways to make this look awesome. And it's just, it's exceptional to see. Like I said, people are brilliant at this game, and I don't.
They are.
I build funny funny Pokemon lookalike maps. It is nice to talk these things out and have sort of I guess have that public access, for lack of a better term, with the dev, to really hear what you and the team have to say and think about these things, because I think that really does develop, especially a community driven a community-driven game like this is so important, that people are able to hear from you, and not just through posts, but to hear you talk ideas out, and then even having revelations, you know, mid-sentence and stuff like that. Like, it's cool. Right. You know, how often, you don't really get that from a lot of things. A lot of things are very structured and organized, and the most structure here was, hey, Julian, we're coming on Wednesday, right? Like, yeah, let's do it, and then that's it. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think.
I'm glad to be in this position still, right? I mean, I'm always happy to I'm kind of known for spoiling stuff, so it's not really too uncommon for me. But yeah, I'm very glad to be able to be on.
You know, if they come after you, I'm a 3rd degree black belt, and I'm very, very protective of my friends. So if you need 132 pounds of Caucasian meat thrown at somebody, fly me over and we'll get there. I'm Canadian, but I'm wearing the plaid shirt. This is my kick some ass shirt. So, like, you know what I'm saying? I'll do it, Thomas. I'll fight you, awesome. And then we can go out for burgers after. Thank you. I look forward to future updates. I did already say I do want to make Questmaster that sort of thing that's part of my content more than me just building the maps for charity. Because I'm already building a side. I don't know if I think you were here when I said I'm going to be building a side map between this and Gen 2, because I wanted to see some of the updates before I continued this. But I've already started working on Sevi Islands, which was a side set of 7 islands in Pokemon Fire Red, because I thought, like, I'm never going to rebuild Fire Red. So instead, what if I take sides? So, you know, the fight area in Gen 4, Black City and White City from Black and White. There are some side areas in Pokemon, even Mystery Dungeon maps in some way, shape, or form. They can't be fully randomized, but, you know, but what I can do now is I can sort of make things evolve a little bit differently with these side maps. So, for example, I'm actually gonna change and put a little bit of lore to the Sevi Islands thing. Not necessarily connect the maps together, but, you know, in this one you're gonna be saving the Sevi Islands from Moltres, from Moltres exploding it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to work. I've been on the frickin' grass theme for so long. The problem is the maps are so large that I've been on the one theme for literal months, and I've built nothing else. So I'm like, okay, I gotta build something else in a different theme. And I go, sure, I'll go with the second base game theme. Not the wind one, not the water one, not the cool ice one. No, I'm gonna go back to the fire one. Not that it's not cool. It's just I've been here for ages.
Right. Yeah, I get that. I have like a lot of people kind of with that curse of being stuck on themes.
But that just means I have to play this for hours.
Yeah, right.
That's all that means. I just have to play this for hours and go from there. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
we're gonna keep watching this game. I want to make sure that this gets as much attention as it deserves, because it does.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I think we set up ourselves for the best of success, hopefully, with the publisher. So we know that like many people are just waiting for 1.0. That's like a given. Yeah. So I think it's
that'll be
expected to. Yeah, it's certainly going to blow up more. Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna get. I can't even begin to imagine if someone like Carl Sagan picks this game up and makes a Troll Kaizo campaign and just. Jesus.
It's gonna be nuts. Yeah, that's.
Oh, it's gonna be wild. I can't wait. It's gonna be so interesting to play entire Zelda games in Questmaster. No one sleeps. Everyone quits their day job. We build maps. Yeah, Thomas, if you ever want to talk
don't call Thomas. No.
Why? What's wrong with Thomas?
We don't do that here.
Screws your stuff. Oh, we definitely have to talk to Tom. There's tea at a Poji with Quest.
Stuff. No.
I want to talk to the music person. I want to talk to the pixel artists.
Brent Boy, the musician, the music mind.
Maybe closer to 1.0. Instead of just getting Julian, we'll get the whole team on. We'll do like, you know how they did for Lord of the Rings, where they just got all the actors and the producers in one giant Zoom call? We'll get you all on Discord, and we'll just have We'll just have one giant meeting. You think I'm joking, but I'm ready for it. I'll get all of you organized.
I'm open for it, yeah.
We'll have a giant launch party. We'll be Zeldathon, but way not Zeldathon. We're way smaller for now. But we'll become we'll become the Devathon. Congratulations,
same to you, man.
GG on this update, and I'm looking forward to freezing people.
Yeah, I mean, enjoy the update, man. Yeah. Talk later, I guess.
Oh, I will. I think we're building golf.
Awesome, sounds good. All right. Bye, chat. Bye, everyone.
Have a good night, Julian. Thanks again.
Bye-bye.
Bye.